September 19th, 2024, and this is Monday, September 23rd, 6 p.m. Brandon, we'll have a roll call, please.
Wilson.
Here.
Boers.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Stellers. Nixon. Stevens.
Here.
Chair West.
Here. All right, first item of business is the consent agenda. I understand we're going to pull item 1C off of the consent agenda and off of the agenda entirely this evening. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have items 1A, 1B, 1D, 1E, and 1F on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to make a motion on that?
So moved.
A second?
Brandon, let's vote, please.
Wilson.
Yes.
Boers.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Chair West.
Yes. Business item number 2 will be pulled. Item 3 is JZ 24 PUD 150, a request by Wallace Design for a PUD 150 overlay, general location southeast corner of 101st Street and South Lewis. Mrs. Hilton, please.
Here we go. Okay, we're on page 67 of 86 pages, and this is a request by Wallace Engineering for a PUD overlay. It's PUD 150, and we rezoned this case in November of 2023, and at that time, we rezoned it for Riverfront Tourist Commercial, RTC, and it was approved by City Council October 26, 2023. They sent in their site plan, and really in order to use the property the way it should be used, they need to face the river, and then that's the front, and then we have the setback issue of 60 feet. So for the RTC, you have to be between 0 and 60 feet. So I'm going to pause right there and take a little rabbit trail. In November, we will look at updating some of the UDO. And one of the things that I do want to talk about in the future during that time is the standards that we have, the setbacks that we have for the RTC, and at least making some type of concession for riverfront-facing properties. So I'm assuming that most people who develop along the river, so if you look at the exhibit that Brandon has up, there's a lot of land to the south, oops. And I would think that most of them are gonna want their main facade to front the river. And it would be very hard because the city's asking for a 30-foot trail, and so then that gives you 0 to 30, and then, anyway, you see the point, it gets very tricky. So, with that being said, we decided that a PUD was the best way forward, and then there is one other exception. If you look on page 68, there's a sign exception. So they're asking for a single-tenant monument sign, a maximum height of 10 feet, and the UDO says 7 feet. And the multi-tenant sign, a maximum height of 20 feet, and the UDO says 14. And I think that those are both reasonable requests, especially along the river, and seeing the height and size of the signs that have gone in at the outlet mall. I think that it's reasonable to ask for the additional height in these two situations. So page 2 of 7 or page 68, it shows the bulk and area dimensions, and it shows the 60 feet from and facing the river there and what they're asking. And then you have the exhibit that you see. Oops, sorry, Brandon changed it. On page 3 of 7, which is page 69, it shows the property that was rezoned to RTC. They are working very closely with engineering department to get everything done. There still some steps with FEMA and some bank stabilization, but it's really moving forward, and I'm excited for this project. If you look on page 74, This is called In the Raw Riverside. And on page 76, they took the chart that we have in the zoning code, and it says, if this was straight zoning, you could do these by right. So P means permitted. It doesn't mean you need a permit, although you do have to have a permit. What it means is it's permitted that you would just submit your building permit. And S means specific use permit. And a C is basically a conditional use permit, which means it would be allowed, but you have to go through staff and make sure that you meet, there's a whole set of criteria that you would have to meet. So on page 79, there's another chart, and again, that's where they highlight that 60 feet from internal street or river trail is what they're asking for. On page 80, I circled in my own packet the sign requirements, because that is an exception. And that's really the nuts and bolts of it. So staff has met with them. We continue to work through all of their processes and trying to get this all finished. We actually are only asking for a PUD. If you'll go to page 84, Brandon. Either one of those are fine. So you see that little, with the little corner with the diagonal lines in it? Right now, the balance of the property will stay RTC, and the PUD will be for that little piece. So they have plans already for a larger, I think for the entire tract, honestly, mostly. But tonight, we're only discussing that little area right there. So staff recommends approval. If you look on, you can keep going, Brandon, on Exhibit D on page 85. It shows the basic layout of the property.
All right, any questions for Marseille? None? Do you have an idea, a better idea of, I mean, I see the parking. Majority of the parking looks like it's kind of on the south and southwest of the building. The front entrance is going to be on the east side facing the river, correct?
Yes, sir.
What is the cul-de-sac behind the building in the island?
That's a drop-off area for the restaurant.
So that's where their loading berth is?
No, I think are you talking about, sorry, the
On the west side?
Yeah, that's just drop-off. That wouldn't be their loading berth. That would be on the south.
That's just drop-off for customers?
Mm-hmm.
And then they walk all the way around the building to the front to enter?
There's access from the west. It's just the dining view.
So they
and
can go in
everything.
back there, walk to the front?
Yes.
To the
It's kind of,
host and
it'll be
hostess.
similar in setup like waterfront grill. You walk through, it's kind of really the back front. They've done a really nice job. The architect has done a really nice job designing it. It'll be beautiful, but the main point is to get to the other side so that you can see the river
Right.
or the lake.
And I'm in
or whatever.
agreement with that. I think that's the way it needs to face.
Mm-hmm.
We've run into some issues in the past with Riverwalk, with their loading, unloading, their dumpsters
Yes.
being on that west side, kind of stinky in the parking lot. It's not a great first impression.
No.
And I know we've tried to help that situation some by making some entrances even on that west side for them. Where would their trash receptacle dumpster?
I think it's
Be
over
here.
there. The applicant's here if you want to.
Oh, great, okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is our applicant. Go ahead and give your name and address,
And my
please,
name
sir.
is Mark Caper, and I'm with Wallace Design Collective, 123 North Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Tulsa. Yes, the dumpster, if you could see it, I hate to walk away from the microphone.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Good job.
but yes, that's where the dumpster is. And there's patio dining on the east and the north side, trying to take advantage of the vistas. There's no like drop off or anything between the building and the river. So there's like an entrance side and then there's an experience side for the dining experience. We would have liked to have done the whole subdivision within the PUD, but this is our first phase one part of the project that's pushing this forward. And here in Jenks, we're not able to do speculative PUDs with, imaginary developments. We'd have to so we might be in front of you again with yet another development that wants to do the same thing. And in that case, we'll just amend the PUD to expand it.
So is that west entrance, is that the main drop-off, and then you go through the building to
Yes.
the dining
Right, and
experience?
there's an entrance on the south side as well.
Okay. And that's patio seating on the west and north
Yes,
that
sir.
we're seeing?
Yes.
Yeah, east and north. Thank you.
I just went along with you.
It's probably not any of my business, but I would not put my dumpsters there. Oklahoma and Tulsa specifically, 86% of the days we have a south wind in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and that's gonna go right across your patio. But that's up to you.
Marseille, do your site plans and Jenks go before the planning commission?
No, they come back to me.
Okay.
Just a thought. I'd
Yeah.
try to get it, put
I
it,
think it's good.
but it,
I'll make sure that
Yeah.
Lily Architecture knows.
Okay.
lots of beautiful south breezy spring and early summer evenings.
I understand.
I think that's
And
wise.
the reason why I asked, we had some elevations, everything we had submitted before for our site plan that we did not include in the PUD, which I kind of lament not having now, but it's going to be a very nice development.
I'm sure. I love it. I'm glad y'all are here. Any other questions of the applicant? Nope.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We're going to open the floor to the public.
Charlotte Montgomery, 10612 South Fir Avenue. I only have one question, and that probably he needs to answer. Is it going to have a second story? Will there be rooftop dining and cocktails to look out over the river?
Thank you. Mark, would you like to come back and answer that for us?
The short answer is yes, but if you look on the north and south side, you can see the patio areas. I believe that I can get you elevations and more details. Even though it's a staff level approval, I think it's still something that's publicly available. So we can share that with you.
I don't know. Will you resend them just in case I don't have the latest? I
Will do,
have
yeah.
multiple,
We'll go through this process.
I have multiple of them, so I don't know which ones. And I can present it with the exhibits at city council.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone else wish to ask a question or speak on this item? Nope, we'll go ahead and close the floor. Back to the planning commission for additional discussion or a motion on item 3.
I make a motion to approve JZ 24 PUD 150.
A second.
Brandon, let's vote, please.
Wilson,
Yes.
Boers,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stevens. Yes. Chair West.
Yes. Other business, any planning updates?
Yes. So if anyone is available October 24th, ULI is having a training, and there's a price for members and a price for non-members. And I sent it to you already, and then we're going to talk to Teresa just to make sure we get the process right for allowing all of you to go if you so want to. It's a Thursday. If you have time, mark it on your calendar. They will have classes, so there'll be 2 speakers and then some breakout sessions, and there'll be some things that I think you will be relevant to you as a planning commissioner. The contract for the downtown master plan is in hand and should be on the October agenda. They have their timeline set. They are ready to go. They are so excited. We scheduled a meeting with the downtown merchants and business owners, and we had, I think, with staff, which there was only a handful of us, we probably had close to 40 people present, so it was really exciting. And Beck Design is the consulting firm that we're hoping to contract with. So I say hoping because it still has to go to council and it still has to be approved at council. So they got wind of it through social media because someone leaked it to the public. We're like, this was a private meeting, but that's okay. So, and they said, would you like us to be there? I was like, you don't have a contract, but sure, if you want to come and talk to everybody. So they came. They were happy to be there. They introduced themselves. We got a little preview of what the concerns were for the merchants downtown. It was really good. And of course, they'll get a follow-up as a stakeholder in downtown. They'll get follow-up interviews as well. But yeah, very, very excited. We're finally getting the contract approved, hopefully, and we're getting the RFQ. We did an RFQ for qualifications, request for qualifications, and so we're excited. And the last thing is the noise ordinance. We put together a focus group, invited different individuals. We've had one focus group meeting, and we have another one on Wednesday at 8:15. And my plan is in October, I have about 18 land use map amendments that I'm bringing to you. So it'll take a minute. So we're gonna go through, yeah. One or two of them are cleanup because Brandon knows it's very important to me that the map matches the zoning or the use. He's like, but what's the future? What if we want to do in the future? And I'm like, I know, but that's not the plan right now. So anyway, I have about 18. Some of them, I think the majority are minor amendments. There's 5 properties that are major amendments. So the minor amendments, we can take any time, and the major amendments, we do quarterly. But I also will have some text amendments because when we had that project for River, what was it? I want to say River Falls. Was that it? The latest one? When we were going through the River Falls process, I realized that the land use excuse me, document, the comprehensive plan, does not have a true medium intensity. It goes from low, basically, to kind of high to super high. So there wasn't really anything in the middle. So we're going to bring a couple of text amendments to you and about 18 properties. And then in November, I will bring back, I was trying to get the noise ordinance in October, but again, it's a daunting task, or at least it is for me. Maybe it's just me. I'm really happy to say that the police department has been at every meeting, and they will be at the one on Wednesday, because I think it's really very important to adopt something that our police force understands, that they were part of writing, and that they are willing to enforce. Because having codes that we don't enforce it just doesn't benefit anybody. It's frustrating to people if you don't enforce something. So they've been at all the meetings, and so I'm going to bring UDO edits, just like I talked about tonight, maybe looking at the RTC with some type of exception. If you're facing the river, maybe we have some different setback requirements. And then there are a couple of other things. I can't remember all the UDO stuff. So comprehensive plan amendments in October, hopefully all the UDO edits that I can come up with, we'll try to get all of those in, including the new noise ordinance. The noise ordinance will be part city and part UDO. So there'll be some things in the city code, and then a couple of things that will say, if you're building, you know, this in this district, then you need to put speakers this direction, whatever. So, a lot going on.
What's our day of our next meeting?
Oh, shoot, I was gonna bring you your calendar too.
I will not be here.
Okay,
I have a Jenks football game at night.
on the 17th.
Yeah, we always have a Thursday game.
Do you all want to consider moving that meeting to a different time?
Somebody else out too already, won't you?
Yes. You'll be out. You'll be back? You already missed 2? I thought you said you were gonna be 2. Was it Rob?
It wasn't me. I was just missing last Thursday's one.
Okay. Was it Rob that was gonna miss? I thought you were gone 2 months in a row. Well, regardless, are y'all interested in moving it?
This October?
I cannot move it to the following Thursday. I'm traveling. But I could do
Yeah, it is. We wouldn't be able to have it that day.
Tuesday the 22nd or something like that.
Does it impact anyone else besides Craig? If we still have quorum, I don't mind. Was anybody else planning to go to the football game?
No, not this year.
Okay, then maybe we just leave it. We'll just leave it on the 17th. Oh. We'll just leave it on the 17th. I am proposing that we go, unless you all say no, and it's fine if you do, I am proposing that we go back to the first Thursday rather than the third Thursday. It's very confusing at a staff level to have something start in one month and go, like, it's very confusing.
Well, you miss a couple too, because like spring break is
Mm-hmm.
in March 7th, 15th or whatever.
Spring break, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's never been good. I have not liked it. So we've done it for almost 2 years, and I'm like, maybe we will not do this anymore. Actually, it was just 1 year, wasn't it? Was it just this year?
No, we did last year.
Okay. Well, Brandon, did you propose it for the
Yes, I made a calendar. I did not print any off.
I forgot.
Yeah, so did I. I'll email it to everyone. Currently, it's just a pure draft. Planning Commission does set their own dates, so if you guys want to do Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, preferably not Fridays. But it's up to you guys.
I think Thursdays is good, just the first week is probably great.
Okay. Okay,
Whatever Craig wants, we'll go with.
all right, whatever
I think
Craig
that
wants.
I mean, for me personally, if somebody's traveling towards the end of the week, it makes it, Thursdays is a little bit tough with the weekend, but that's just a personal thing.
It is. I've scheduled my whole life around planning commission and city council meetings, so I get it.
So, I mean, for me, the week
And
is
fair.
better, but we'll do whatever the majority is.
Okay, and think about, I'll try to have them to add special holidays in and try to also know what the school holidays are, so that they're on there when you're looking at, do you want to do it on those days or not?
Will said, I agree that probably having it on the night of a Jenks football game is probably not a good idea. I mean, as big as football is in the town, and it's a community event, probably not a good idea. Surely the schedules are done ahead of time, aren't they? I don't know how soon
That's the
they
only
are.
Thursday game we have is always.
Well, I'm just saying
fall
for 1 week, we could have, you know, we knew ahead of time, or I don't know if it's possible to know ahead of time or not.
On their schedule, maybe
I don't think the
they
football
wouldn't
schedule
know.
is that early.
Okay,
Football schedules usually come out like in May.
Yeah, no.
really? I didn't realize it was that.
We have to adopt our calendar by the end of the year. Has to be adopted and posted
December 15th.
by December
It doesn't
15th.
have to be posted, it has to be,
I mean, approved.
it doesn't even have to be approved.
Oh gee, I'm just making up stuff.
You know, has to be filed with the municipal clerk by the 15th of December.
Okay, Brandon has to know what we're gonna do by December 15th. That's it.
Meeting's adjourned at 6:25.